Hi, it's Raj Kumar, President and Editor-in-Chief of Devex. We're back here in Dubai at the Global Education and Skills Forum, sort of the Davos of the global education field. I can say that to you because my guest Hala Hanna used to work at the World Economic Forum, knows all about Davos and that event. You're now at Solve, which is an initiative of MIT. Tell us about what Solve is, and then I want to ask you a few questions about what you're up to.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm Managing Director for Communities at Solve, which is an initiative that advances the most promising solutions to some of the most pressing global challenges around 4 action areas: learning, which is very fitting for where we are today, health, sustainability, and economic inclusion.
Yeah, no, we've covered Solve at Devex since you were first launched. There was a lot of interest around it, especially because Clinton Global Initiative stopped doing their annual meeting. A lot of that interest went over to Solve in a way, and you guys had a different model, which was to look for some of the big challenges and find entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs who can go out and solve them. So tell us where you are in the life cycle of the organization now.
That's right, and I have to thank you and Devex for being early supporters, so we really appreciate that. So we function like a marketplace for social impact innovation. Every year we select from the 1,000 of applications that we get from 100 of countries with MIT faculty and industry experts, 30 to 40 that are the strongest. And they can be really, what's beautiful about the model is that it's really about crowd solving. So we have an open innovation platform. Anyone, anywhere in the world can apply. They can be a non-profit or a for-profit. They can be, looking for their first grant or going for Series A. It doesn't really matter. What matters is how promising the idea is to really have impact on the ground. So right now we have 66 solvers that we're working with to broker partnerships with our community of members, sponsors, supporters. They're from really various industries and cross-sector. And it really gets to the idea that 2 things. Well, obviously our world is changing at an exponential rate, and for exponential change, we believe you need exponential partnership, and we believe that we need to stop tapping into the very small number of people's ingenuity and talent that we tap into right now.
And open it up.
And open it up completely, exactly.
Yeah, the global development community, when we think of it, how it was a decade ago or 2 decades ago, it was quite narrow in a lot of ways, and now it's just exploded. So many organizations are part of that, including at an event like this. What is the Solve-a-thon that you're hosting here?
So it's a human-centered design workshop of a couple of hours that aims at getting people to collaborate to get their ideas and solutions developed.
Okay.
And it's very human-centered in the sense that it starts from, it's all about asking the right questions, and it starts from the beneficiaries themselves. And this one is going to be focused on our new, 2 of our 4 new challenges for 2018. The learning one, which looks at how teachers and educators everywhere can be empowered to lead classrooms that are creative and personalized and affordable. And the one that's focused on work of the future, which looks at how we can make sure that those that have been sidelined by the transformation of work can lead fulfilling and prosperous lives.
Yeah, that is a big underlying discussion here, is about robotics, automation, what it's going to mean for people's jobs and careers, and the risk to potentially to some traditional job categories. I'm just thinking about the solvers that work in this space in learning. Are any of them attacking that issue? Give us an example of some of the solvers that are working.
Very much, and in some sense, we have, as a global community, we don't really yet have a good sense of what is going to happen. How many jobs are going to be gone versus created? How many industries are going to be gone versus created? What are the skills that are going to be needed for the future? And so the solvers that we work with are very, very tapped into those issues in their own communities. There are obviously a lot of coding initiatives, and which is extremely helpful, especially for getting jobs right now. And there are also initiatives that are looking at how do you create the localized edXs. So we have an Indonesian solver that is working on that has millions of subscribers on their platform that are putting in native languages courses online for their own community. We have a lot of people who are working with the most vulnerable populations in their community, whether it's survivors of human trafficking, like Annie Cannons, that is teaching them to code, all the way to Roya Mahboub, who runs Digital Citizen Funds that teaches girls in Afghanistan how to build robots.
And she's the one who's famous of late for having her visa denied, is that right?
That's correct, yes. So her team had her visa denied, and it's a robotics, all-girls robotics team that ended up going to Europe and actually winning the competition there, and they built a solar-powered robot. So it just an embodiment of how much ingenuity there is
everywhere in the world.
Everywhere in the world.
If we can just tap into it.
Absolutely.
Well, that's one of the things that's so inspiring about this conference and about the work you do at Solve. So
thank you very much.
Thank you for taking some time to speak with us today.
Yeah.